In the Bible's infinite wisdom, we learn about renewal of the mind and then also to stop conforming to the world. Now, this is a really interesting thing that I'm going to get to. But first, I want to tell you I'm a neuro-linguistic programmer, an NLP certified master, and men's life coach. And I work with ambitious men who are looking to have a life of freedom, purpose, and alignment with God. Now, I'm going to read from the Bible here. This is the ESV, the English Standard Version, and I'm going to be reading from Romans. So this is actually Romans 12, and it starts with a living sacrifice. So I'm going to read 12:2. I'm not going to read 12:1 at first. I'm going to read 12:2. And so what it says here is, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect." So this is a really impactful thing. This is so impactful that I have this right on my website. It's right on manrewired.com, and it's on a bunch of my areas that I look at because this passage explains so much of what I do and what is important to us. So if you don't know Romans, Romans is Paul writing a letter to the Romans. And when we get to 12, it's where he starts talking about how to live the Christian life, how to live as a Christian, how to live being right with God. So it's more about like the lifestyle choices. So when he says, "Do not be conformed to this world," what he's talking about is, and what this means for us even in our modern day, is to not just conform to society that is not living in right relationship with God. So this can mean don't do things that everyone else in society is doing that you know are not the right move. So this could be something like, let's say, drinking alcohol profusely, right? I don't drink alcohol, but this could be something like that. That is a typical thing. Conforming to the society would be, drinking a lot on a regular basis. That might be something. Could also mean just like not taking care of your body, maybe having bad habits like gambling, things like that. Things that are, quote unquote normal by societal standards and conforming, but aren't really the right move. Now, there's a lot of other things that can be implied here too, but I can think of this a lot in terms of just our daily habits. Our daily habits are so crucial. So we don't want to conform to what other people say our daily habits should be. Someone might have a daily habit of eating McDonald's every day. That's not really going to serve your body. It's not going to be helpful for you. That's just how it is. That's just the truth of it. When I think of do not be conformed to this world, and also think about the context of what Paul was writing in at the time, there was a lot of corruption, and there still is a lot of corruption in society. There's a lot of just negative things that happen in the world, but we can make the choice to not conform. Now, the next part of it where it says, "But be transformed by the renewal of your mind." So crucial here. Be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Now, for me, I'm a NLP certified master. That's what I do. I'm a neuro-linguistic programmer. I work with changing the way that we think, renewing our mind. This is what I do on a daily basis when I work with men. And this is the type of work that people can do themselves, which is restructuring the way that we are organizing our experiences in our mind. And this can actually change things dramatically. Let me give you an example. I was talking to somebody recently who they were struggling to feel like they could have good relationships with other people, right? So I was working with a man who was struggling to feel like they could have a good relationship with women. And what was happening was this man had had a lot of bad experiences with women that were basically front and center in his mind. Now, at the same time, this man had had really great long-term relationships with women, and there were a lot of moments of positive relationships there too. It's just that those were way off in the distance. So when he would think about his experiences with women, all that was coming up was the negative things that had happened to him from some different women. Now, I'm not saying that didn't happen. That was real stuff that happened to this man. And it is hard, and sometimes there is traumatic stuff that happens, and it's rough. But there's also a lot of successful experiences and positive experiences. So what can happen is a few negative experiences can become the thing that's right in front of our face when we close our eyes, the thing that we're hearing right in our ear, or the thing that we're feeling in our body. We can have negative experiences that are just so much more impactful on us in our minds than the positive experiences that we had. You could have 100 positive experiences with a woman and one negative one, and that negative one is the one that you're focused on. And so we can restructure a lot of this stuff using NLP and other techniques, and that can actually lead to a renewal of our mind because those positive experiences are there, and then also the negative ones. Now, I go over all of this stuff and how to do all of it completely free in my free courses. You can get access in the description. You can join the free school community. It's all in there. And I help people on a regular basis with the free resources in there for that. And then there's also information on booking a call with me if you wanted to go even deeper with it. So I'm not going to get into all the techniques or anything like that now, but the important thing is renewal of your mind. So be transformed by the renewal of your mind. So do not be conformed to this world. Instead, be transformed by the renewal of your mind. You have the power within you. You do. We all have it. Then it goes into that by testing you may discern what is the will of God. So this is about actually being in the right relationship and in alignment with God. It's so important. You will have so much more fulfillment in your daily life if you are in alignment with God. This is something that I know personally because I built an entire successful company when I was not in alignment with God, and I grew it and made a lot of money. And something was always wrong and missing. Even when I was achieving a lot of financial success and all this stuff, there was something missing and I was suffering, and I didn't understand what was going on until I realized that I was out of alignment with God for some of that. Now, I was running my company very positively. My employees loved it. I ran the business successfully, very ethically, good morals and everything, but God was not at the forefront of what I was thinking about on a day-to-day basis when I was building that business. And later, when I started to work on other businesses and other things, and with God at the forefront, everything felt more aligned and positive and just easier. Just everything just flowed. You enter the flow state so much more easily. And the thing was, even though I built that company successfully, there was other things in my life that were not going well because I wasn't in alignment with God. And that was just the way that it works. So when you have renewal of your mind and you can test and make sure that you discern what is the will of God and have that full alignment, you're going to feel so much better every single day. I can't even put it into words. It's just something that you have to experience. And that's the type of transformation work that I do with men on a day-to-day basis because it's amazing. I did it for myself first, and then I started working with other people on it. Now, then it goes into what is good and acceptable and perfect, and that's just more going along with discerning what is the will of God. So that's what it goes to. Now, I do want to just quickly bring this up. I want to read the first section of 12 as well. So this is a living sacrifice before section 2. I want to read this part now. I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. So that's what comes before the first section I read, before section 2. That's how it starts, chapter 12. And this is one of those ones that some people get confused by because it's talking about living sacrifice, which is kind of a funny term. When we think about sacrifice, we don't always think about like living sacrifice. What does that mean? It's really simple. It's just about actually surrendering to God on a day-to-day basis and just putting God first. It's really simple as a Christian. It really is. It's just love each other, forgive each other, put God first. I mean, it's very simple. So it's living day to day with God at the forefront of your decision making, of your purpose, and being in full alignment. When you do this, you're going to feel filled with the Holy Spirit. I can't stress this enough. you're going to feel filled with the Holy Spirit on a daily basis, and it's going to lead to you having a positive effect on other people. There's so much that we can do to align ourselves. Discipline becomes easier, everything becomes aligned. There's a lot of things we can do with NLP to make things stick, right? Like make discipline stick, make consistency stick. There's a lot of things we can do with NLP there. And the funny thing is, when you look at like the logical levels in NLP, a lot of them will have identity at the top, but there's a lot of models that show purpose and spiritual connection even above that. And I think that those are the right ways to look at it, because our spiritual connection and our purpose are aligned with our identity. That's all part of things. So when you want to do this work properly, if you do the NLP work and align the lower levels with the higher levels so that you can get consistency, when you do that while having full alignment with God, just beautiful things happen in your life and everything becomes more easeful. I can't stress this enough. So if you want to learn more, check out the links in the description, and I will see you in the next one.